Hey everybody, this is Javi, and you are watching the Inner Child Collective, a YouTube channel where you and your inner child heal for the better. Welcome, happy Monday. Hello, how are you? I hope y'all had a really good weekend. I know I did. I always relax on the weekend, at least to do everything I can to do so I'm not out here overworking. But if you are tuning in or just tuning in, this is the weekly words of wisdom video where I pull an archetype card and and another card, just to set us up for the week, to basically like help us focus on what your inner child needs, what you are looking for, and how the two of you can merge together, so on and so forth. And so if you resonate with this video or any other videos that I've done, please subscribe to the channel. You can also click the like button and let people know that I'm here. The more people who know about me, the better, because I love talking about the inner child and what we could do to help the inner child heal and infuse it with the spiritual, rituals and spirituality in general. So on that note, let's get started. So this week we have the Femme Fatale archetype. For a lot of us, this means that a lot of us are like tapping into erotic energy. We're supposed to be doing that. I've been getting a lot of cards like this. So what I'm getting from this is that this is a time for us to tap into our sensuality, to tap into our sexual agency, because as children, we would, of course, as children, we were given all kinds of, false information about sex, false information about sexuality, and a lot of times, a lot of us have been through sexual abuse. So a lot of us as children have begun to um, have some really confusing messages around sex and sexual agency, and so as adults, we also carry those same elements of shame and same elements of guilt around sex, especially if, we're one of those people who, you know, I'm just getting that a lot of people are walking around with not knowing their bodies, not knowing what they want in sex, out of it, getting involved with people who do not uh, see their light and their love, and just want to have sex. A lot of us are, I'm thinking promiscuity. A lot of us are falling into that trap, feeling as if like in order for us to feel good about ourselves or to understand our sexual needs, we have to have sex with another person and have sex with multiple people, even if we don't, feel comfortable doing that. There is nothing wrong with casual sex at all, but if it's not the way you are looking, uh, it's not the way you imagine it. What ends up happening is that we end up playing ourselves and self-sabotaging ourselves and being involved with people who really don't care about us or our sexual agency, but only care about theirs. And so what we're getting from this card is that we are to be careful, with these messages around sex, and we are to examine our messages around sex and what that looks like, and what our sensuality and what our sexuality or sexual expression is to look like to us. When we take the power from our abusive stories and our abusers by basically taking the agency in our own hands, and our sexuality, our sexual agency in our own hands, what ends up happening is that we become powerful and we become agents of change in regards to what type of relationships we want to have or what type of sexual experiences we would like to have. A lot of this, I'm getting a lot of, for some reason, like I guess it's because it is Virgo season, will be Virgo season, but basically this has everything to do with Scorpio season energy as well. What ends up happening is that I'm just getting that a lot of us tend to be secretive in regards to our sexual agency, just simply because we feel like there's some, again, that's an element of shame. an element of guilt. A lot of us are very ashamed about our sexual desires. A lot of us have been told to be ashamed of who we are as people because of our sexual preferences. And I'm also getting to that a lot of us feel as if we tell people these about our sexual agency, and we tell about how much we enjoy sex, that we will be shamed for it. And to be honest with you, like, our society does not necessarily condone, you know, sexual expression or certain ways of sexual expression. And so we have got to um, we have got to be aware, of our own sexual power, our own sexual agency, and know that we are not predators. A lot of people too, because of the way they promote sex, the way they approach sex. They feel like they're very predatory in nature. And so, what that is coming from too is that a lot of us are reenacting our trauma, our sexual trauma, and our sexual abuse. And because we never had a really good model of what um, healthy sex is like, and what and a healthy expression of sex and sensuality and sexuality is like, we're basically repeating a lot of what we've learned, and what we have experienced. And what's ended up happening is that we could be hurting someone as a result. So this is a time for us to really step back and ask ourselves, where did this type of behavior come from, if it's predatory in nature? Because what I'm getting is that a lot of you are not predators or anything of that nature. Like, at least the people that I'm working with, what I am seeing is that a lot of us just don't know what healthy sexual expression looks like. A lot of us don't know, and a lot of us are pretty much just looking for love. I'm just seeing this element of shame for people, and so we are to let go of this by again asking spirit, what do I have to do? What can I do? Okay, in order for me to be healthy with sex, where I can actually have it without being without hurting someone else. I can have it without hurting myself, because I'm getting that a lot of folks don't have any harm. There is no harm. Is or if there is, you don't recognize where it came from. So what I'm getting from this is that this is the time for us. This is literally the time for us to take our power back and to literally like start doing some solar plexus work in the sacral in the shadow chakra work as well, because those two are very much connected to our power and our sexual agency and what it looks like and what it feels like and what it's supposed to be for us. I'm also getting that. Yeah, there's a lot of. It's time for you to start talking about your sexual abuse. For those who have gone through a sexual abuse, it's time for you to start talking about it. It's time for you to start being open about it, not only with yourself, but people who have been, victims and survivors of sexual abuse and sexual misconduct, and to be open about it so they can. So for one, they don't feel alone and you don't feel alone, and to do this in a safe space. Because once you start talking about those demons that are within you, the shadows around sexual abuse and sexual agency, everything will start falling into place as to where you receive that the message that this type of sex is okay, that type of sex is okay, this type of behavior is okay. It will get rid of the shame. It will get rid of the shame and the guilt, because I'm feeling a lot of shame and guilt around this huge story around your sexual abuse and your sexual agency. And basically, what you're being told, if this is your truth and you resonate with this message, that this is a time for you to get rid of that element of shame by talking about it, and not just telling your story, and not just doing that. No, stop with talking. Basically start writing down your story. Start writing down, what happened to you, so other people can see, and you're not carrying that story anymore. You're not carrying that shame anymore, and you are not only being a beacon of light for other people, but you are being a beacon of light to yourself as you begin the healing process of letting go of the childhood sexual abuse, because I'm getting that this message is for y'all. This message is for y'all in regards to in regards to what happened. Okay, so what you receive as far as words of wisdom is the curse. This was like, you have been carrying this shame for so long. As you can see, like, there is a hand around this person's mouth. You are breaking the chain. You are breaking the cycle. You have been cursed for so long because you've been holding on to this story. And in fact, you've been holding on to many stories, to cover yourself, to because you're ashamed of yourself, and you're ashamed of what happened to you. You're ashamed of what you asked for, in regards to if you're, as far as like what you think sex is, right? Like, you feel like you asked. That's what a thank you spirit. You think you asked for it. You think that you put yourself in harm's way, um, just simply for being there. But that's not. But that's not the case at all. Like, you did not put this on yourself. This is not your fault. What I'm getting is that you are to recognize that the person who did this to you, they would have done this to anybody. They just so happened to do this to you. They just so happened to do this to you simply because you were an easy target for them. They did not heal. They saw and they groomed you, and that's how a lot of of, of predators get you. That's how they operate. They see your weaknesses. They see that you are lonely. They see that you are struggling. They see this, and they take that and use it to their advantage. That's what grooming is. And while they're grooming you, that's how they determine whether or not you're going to be a victim, right? You didn't do anything wrong. They were calculative. They were calculating. They were the ones who were causing all these issues and problems because they have not healed from their own sexual abuse, or they have not healed from their own pain and suffering, and so they have not done a healing work for themselves, and so they do just so happen to be there. Is what I'm getting. They just so happen to be there. You did nothing wrong to cause what happened. This is one of the reasons why you are staying silent, is because you felt like you asked for it, or you were placed in a place. I'm getting incest as well. Um, you feel like in some way, shape, or form, because they were related to you in some way, shape, or form, or they were related by blood, or they were adopted, to the family. Somehow you asked for this. And so Spirit is basically telling you through the curse that you will continue to be cursed, and you will continue to be um, in that guilt and shame, and carrying that guilt and shame around if you don't tell your story. And this is the time for you to tell your story. Tell someone you trust that, about what happened. Talk to spirit. Let's tap into spirit, and let your ancestors know that this is what happened to me. This is what happened to me. This is what is going on, and I am ready to tell my story. Listen to, I'm like, please tell your story to your ancestors, your wise ones, guardian angels, archangels, ascended masters, and ask them, please send. This is what's happening. Please send someone my way who will listen to my story. Help me find a safe space to tell my story, because this is eating me up inside, and I cannot do this anymore. This is a time for us, survivors, who have a sexual abuse story, to tell your story, regardless of what other people are going to say or do, because by the end of the day, this is your life. Don't allow it to be cursed any longer. Break the chain by talking. If you cannot talk, then write about it. There are many other ways that people, tell their story through dance, through art, through forms of acting, through like their journey. Like that's why like journaling is another way to tell your story. But please allow yourself to speak and allow yourself to put this on the laps of your perpetrators. You are not meant to carry the story for the rest of your life. You are not meant to put yourself in a situation where you are in so much pain emotionally and psychologically that you're just carrying these wounds. You are meant to heal, and the only way you are going to heal is by going through your shadows. And what I'm getting is that this involves sexual abuse. This involves someone taking away your agency, whether is as you're a child or a teenager, or even in your early 20s, like somewhere around the area, that imprint is to be let go of. That hoocha, that pain and that suffering, that energy that keeps you behind and keeps you from experiencing life to the fullest. That that is supposed to be released. That is supposed to be released. What better way to do it is is by than to it's supposed to be, what better way to do it than to talk about it or do something to release that energy and show the world what happened. So that is your weekly words of wisdom today for um, September 7th, 2020. If you resonated with um, that message in any way, shape, or form, by all means, let me know in the comments. You can also like the video. You can also subscribe to the channel so you'll never miss another weekly word of wisdom. And if you are on social media, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And there you go. And if you like to have a private reading, you can click on the Calendarly. As in Calendly, I can never pronounce it, but basically, you can click on that link to book a private reading. I have all kinds of services for you to choose from, and yeah, that's it for this week. As far as words of wisdom is concerned, thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of the week, and until next time, peace.